Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be something different than what I've been doing for the rest of the month of April. This video is going to be a book review, and the book I'm going to be reviewing is called A Monster Calls. So in April, as you know, I've been doing Camp NaNoWriMo, and in the middle I was just feeling uninspired. So I decided to come to my bookcase and pick up a book, and this just happened to be the book that I picked up, so I'm going to review it today. So let's get started. Okay, so I've had this book for about 2 years now, and I'm just now reading it. I picked it up at the Strand bookstore in Manhattan, and I picked it up because, like, as you can see, the cover is beautiful. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to read this book. I never actually got around to it until now, but the book itself is by Patrick Ness, and it's inspired by notes from Sabona Dodd. Apparently this woman had passed away, and she was a writer, and she left notes behind for this book, and Patrick had taken those notes and created a story out of it. There's like a beautiful introduction about her in the beginning of the book, and the illustrator is Jim Kay, which is like down there. So that's what all these names are down here. So I really enjoyed the book. I think the book was very well done. I also really enjoyed the illustrations of the book. Let me see if I can find some. So you can see, like, the book has like pictures and stuff. It's not like in hard read. You know, I read it in a couple hours over a few days. It was very enjoyable. I also just like the whole concept of it. So basically what the book is about is a boy named Connor, and his mother is unfortunately diagnosed with cancer. And Connor is clearly having a very hard time dealing with it, especially since everyone around him is treating him differently. Now, a lot of the reason why I like this book is because I related so much to the main character, Connor, because 4 years ago, my stepfather had passed away from cancer. So about 6 years ago was when he was initially diagnosed with cancer. And, you know, it was very hard for our family, and people do treat you differently. You know, they like kind of walk on eggshells around you because they feel like they don't want to upset you, and it really does upset you more. And that's basically what Connor's going through, is that he just wishes that everyone would treat him like they did prior to knowing that his mother has cancer. And basically this part of the story is her last stages with the cancer and him coming to terms with the fact that his mother is going to pass away. So in the story you find out that Connor is having these nightmares, and you're not really sure like what the actual nightmare is about, but you do know that it is definitely frightening Connor. And then one night the Yule tree that is overlooking the church behind his house comes to life and comes to Connor. Now the tree is, as he explains, is like he's an old, you know, guardian of like the earth. To me it had a very, I don't know if you've ever seen like Pan's Labyrinth. It's a very like magical world, and that's what the tree reminded me of. So the tree explains to Connor that he's going to tell him 3 stories, and then at the end, when the 3 stories are done, Connor has to tell him a story, and it has to be a truthful story. And Connor is like really upset, and he's angry, which is understandable because his mom is getting worse with her treatments because unfortunately they don't always work, and his grandmother comes to stay with him, who he does not have a great relationship with, and also his parents are divorced and his father lives in America. So he does have a lot that's going on, and I was just so drawn to this character because at the same time when my stepfather was diagnosed with cancer, my parents also had divorced. My biological father and my mother divorced, and it was just a really hard time for me as well. And I was also very angry, and I just couldn't place my emotions, and so I just never talked about it. And that's what's happening with Connor, is that he really can't place his emotions. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't feel like he has anyone to talk about it. He doesn't like his grandmother. His father is in a different country and doesn't really visit as often as he like. And for a young boy, it's just really hard for him. He doesn't feel like he has friends because everyone at school is treating him differently. So eventually he comes to trust a Yule Tree because to him, he's not the scariest thing that he's encountered. And obviously, you will eventually find out about his nightmare. So the tree tells him the 3 stories, and at the end, Connor tells his story. And Connor's story is basically that, he really wants his mom to not be in pain anymore, but he also understands that if she's no longer in pain, that means that she's no longer going to be with him. And that is something that is very hard for Connor to come to terms with. And for me, it was also very hard to come to terms with because, I did really love my stepdad, and it was very hard to come to terms with that. The treatments weren't working anymore, and that there was nothing that the doctors can do. And when doctors tell, when they sit you down and they tell you that, it's really earth-shattering. You're confused, you don't understand why is there nothing else that you can do. They're supposed to be doctors, they're supposed to know all these things, they're supposed to be able to help and fix him, but unfortunately they can't always. So to me, I thought, this book was very relatable. I definitely wish I had it 4 years ago to help me with those emotions. Because even now, it's been 4 years since he's passed, and it's still, very hard. My mom's still very sad about it. Even though, yes, she does have a new partner, Mike is always going to be a part of her. So I just like how the main character was very relatable. I loved the illustration throughout the book. I loved the stories that the tree had to tell, and I just love how real it was. There wasn't per se a happy ending. At the end of the story, his mother does pass away, because that's what happens when people have cancer. Unfortunately, not everyone goes into remission. Not everyone comes out on the other side, and sometimes, it's not as pleasant as some movies like to make it seem. And I also liked how you get to see the real side of grief. It's okay to be angry and upset, and Connor was very angry and very upset about everything, at the world, at his friends, even at his mother. And sometimes you feel bad. You're not supposed to be angry at the person who's sick and dying, but that feeling of being left behind and, you know, not being able to see them anymore is very frustrating. So it was nice to have that put into the book. It was nice that they, you know, they showed that side of grieving, because it's not always just, you know, sadness. There is anger and confusion, because you can't even fathom the thought of that person just not being there anymore. So all in all, I did really enjoy the book. If you do get a chance, I hope you guys pick it up. It is, to me, a very well done book. The illustrations are beautiful. And that's really it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll be sure to post more book reviews. And also subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'll be recording videos, well, not recording. I will be uploading videos every Sunday and Wednesday, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you, and bye.